I never thought I'd have to choose between my family and my future. Growing up, I always believed that hard work solved everything. My parents weren't wealthy, but they constantly reminded my younger sister and me that education and determination could change our lives. At least, that's what they told me. My name is Emma, and I'm 29 years old. I work as a financial analyst in Chicago. Everything I own today came from years of sacrifice, extra shifts, skipped vacations, and countless weekends spent working while my friends enjoyed their lives. For years, I saved every dollar I could because I had one dream. I wanted to buy my own house. It wasn't a luxury mansion or a huge property. I simply wanted a small place that belonged to me. My savings account represented much more than money. It represented independence. My parents lived in another state with my younger sister, Lily. Unlike me, Lily always received special treatment. She was outgoing, charming, and naturally good at convincing people to help her. I was the responsible daughter. She was the favorite daughter. I didn't realize how deep that difference was until everything fell apart. One Sunday afternoon, my mother called me, "Emma, your sister is getting married." I smiled. "That's wonderful." My mother spent the next 20 minutes describing the engagement ring, the venue, the flowers, and the guest list. I was genuinely happy for Lily until she mentioned something strange. "We're a little worried about the wedding budget." I laughed. "Well, weddings are expensive. We know, but we'll figure something out." At the time, I didn't think much about it. A few weeks later, I visited my parents for dinner. The moment I walked into the house, I noticed wedding magazines covering every table. My father looked stressed. My mother looked exhausted. Lily looked excited. During dinner, the conversation revolved entirely around the wedding, the dress, the photographer, the decorations, the catering, the honeymoon. Every detail seemed more expensive than the last. Then, my father sighed. "I don't know how we're going to afford all this," Lily immediately responded. "It's my wedding, Dad. I only get married once." I stayed quiet. I had learned years ago that disagreeing with Lily never ended well. After dinner, my mother pulled me aside. "Can we talk?" Something about her expression made me uncomfortable. We sat in the living room. She folded her hands. "Your father and I need a favor." "What kind of favor?" "We were wondering if you could help Lily financially." I shook my head. "I can't." Her face changed instantly. "Why not?" "I'm saving for a house." "It's just money." "No, it's my future." She looked disappointed. "We thought you'd want to support your sister." "I do support her, but I can't pay for her wedding." The conversation ended awkwardly. I returned home feeling guilty, but I also felt confident that I'd made the right decision. Or so I thought. 3 months later, I logged into my online banking account. My heart stopped. My savings balance was almost empty. I refreshed the page. Then I refreshed it again. I thought there had been a technical error, but there wasn't. Nearly $70,000 had disappeared. My hands started shaking. I called the bank immediately. After verifying my identity, the representative asked me a question that completely confused me. "Are you reporting an unauthorized transfer from your joint account?" "Joint account?" "Yes." "I don't have a joint account." There was silence. Then she read a second name, my mother's name. I felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. Years earlier, when I was still in college, my mother had helped me open my first savings account. Apparently, her name had never been removed. I couldn't breathe. The representative explained that the transfer had been authorized by an account holder. Legally, it wasn't considered fraud. Legally, my mother had every right to withdraw the money. I ended the call. Then I called my parents. My mother answered. "Mom, where's my money?" Silence. "Mom, we were going to tell you." I felt sick. "You took my savings?" It wasn't just me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You stole $70,000. We didn't steal anything." I started crying. "What did you do with it?" Her answer changed my relationship with my family forever. "We used it for Lily's wedding." I couldn't speak. I couldn't think. I couldn't process what I'd just heard. "You had no right. It was for your sister. It was my money. You'll earn it back. I'll earn it back." Those 4 words destroyed me. Years of sacrifice, years of hard work, years of discipline, reduced to a simple sentence. "You'll earn it back." I hung up. The next day, I drove to my parents' house. I needed answers. When I arrived, Lily was sitting at the kitchen table reviewing wedding invitations. She smiled when she saw me. Then she noticed my expression. "What happened?" I couldn't believe she was pretending. "You know exactly what happened." Her smile disappeared. "My parents joined us." I looked directly at Lily. "Did you know?" She avoided eye contact. That was my answer. "You knew." "It's complicated." "No. It's not." My father finally spoke. "Lower your voice." I laughed. "You're worried about my voice?" My mother crossed her arms. "We borrowed the money." I couldn't believe it. "Borrowed? When were you planning to ask me?" "We planned to pay you back." "With what money?" Nobody answered, because they didn't have an answer. The wedding venue alone had cost more than my father earned in several months. I turned toward Lily. "You let them do this?" Her response was unbelievable. "It's my wedding. I didn't ask them where the money came from." I stared at her. "Are you serious?" Then she said something I'll never forget. "You're single. You don't don't need the money as much as I do. I left. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I simply left. For the next several weeks, I ignored every phone call. My family accused me of overreacting. My relatives called me selfish. Some even told me that family should always come first. Nobody asked how I felt. Nobody asked how I'd rebuild my future. Then the wedding invitations arrived, mine included. I threw it into the trash. My mother called again. You're coming. No, people will ask questions. I don't care. It's your sister's wedding. And that was my money. My mother hung up. The wedding happened without me. According to social media, it was perfect. Beautiful decorations, luxury photographs, an expensive honeymoon. Everything looked exactly the way Lily had imagined. I wish I could say that I immediately moved on. I didn't. I was angry, heartbroken, embarrassed. I couldn't even look at family photographs anymore. Then something unexpected happened. My grandmother called. She asked me to visit her. When I arrived, she poured me a cup of coffee and asked me to explain everything. I told her the entire story. She listened quietly. Then she opened a drawer. Inside was a small notebook. She showed me pages filled with handwritten notes, expenses, dates, amounts. My grandmother had known my parents were struggling financially for years. Then she showed me something else. Loan documents, credit card statements. My parents weren't just struggling, they were drowning in debt. The wedding had pushed them into complete financial disaster. My grandmother looked at me. You need to protect yourself. What do you mean? Separate your finances, change your accounts, create boundaries. I followed her advice. I opened completely new bank accounts. I changed my passwords. I contacted an attorney. Legally, recovering the money would be difficult. Emotionally, I wasn't sure I wanted to spend years fighting my own family in court. So I made a different decision. I stopped funding everyone else's problems. I stopped feeling guilty. And I stopped allowing my family to treat me like an emergency bank account. Months passed, then a year, then almost 2 years. I rebuilt my savings from the beginning, slowly, painfully, one step at a time. Then my phone rang. It was Lily. I almost ignored the call. Instead, I answered. She sounded different, quieter. Her marriage was falling apart. Financial problems had created constant arguments. She apologized. At first, I didn't believe her. Then she said something I never expected. You were right. I stayed silent. I'm sorry. The words didn't erase the past, but they mattered. A few weeks later, my parents apologized too. Not because they suddenly realized they were wrong. They apologized because they finally understood the consequences of their choices. Trust, once broken, doesn't magically return. Relationships don't heal overnight. Forgiveness doesn't erase betrayal. Today, I own the small house I always wanted. Ironically, I achieved my dream 2 years later than I originally planned. Sometimes I still think about those $70,000. I think about everything I could have done with that money. But then I remind myself of something important. Money can be replaced. Self-respect cannot. My parents chose a wedding over their daughter's trust. My sister chose a celebration over honesty, and I chose to walk away. For the first time in my life, I stopped trying to earn my family's approval. I started building a life for myself instead. If there's one lesson I learned from this experience, it's this. Being related to someone doesn't give them unlimited access to your sacrifices. Family is built on trust, and trust is worth far more than money. Even today, people ask whether I regret missing my sister's wedding. My answer is always the same. No, because the moment my parents emptied my savings account, they made their choice, and eventually I made mine.